There we go. What up, Ryan?
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
We're good, man. How are you?
Good, doing well.
Nice. We're pumped to have you on. So you're the co-founder of Glider, which is a product making it easy to automate and manage your DeFi portfolio. And yeah, I think had heard of you guys, hadn't really dove in, and I was looking at the product this morning, and you have a lot of the standard stuff you'd expect, like rebalancing out of kind of traditional portfolio management tools. But you also have a bunch of cool stuff like auto rotating into trending tokens and easy index creation, and a lot of stuff that I didn't necessarily expect. So can you just give us an overview of what's possible today with Glider?
Yeah, so the big picture with Glider is we are a both direct-to-consumer platform, but also a B2B2C infra provider for automating DeFi. And that can mean a lot of things. So let me give you some clear examples here. So you can do things like, as you mentioned, create a basket of tokens, which automatically rebalances on your own. You can buy a token when any one-off trigger happens. So this could be like price action. This could be somebody tweets about it, somebody dumps a token and you want to follow what they're doing. You can also do things like lend all of your tokens as well. So not only are you rebalancing, all of your assets are also put to full use while that rebalancing is occurring. Like anything that could be lent should be lent. And then the best part about all this is like no gas, no signing, no bridging, and fully non-custodial. So we make it really, really easy for users to do all these things.
So like for me, the biggest question that always pops up when you're talking about my money, and especially with agents, is the trust factor. So I hear you say non-custodial there, but maybe can you sort of walk us through like where's the risk in this? Where are we trusting, and like how have you approached building something that really can scale to really manage all my monies? It's not a ton, but it's all my monies.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is like having worked at Anchorage, which is a big institutional custodian, the highest level thing that you can get from somebody is their trust, right? Once you lose that, it's over. You're never going to get their business again. The way Glider operates is through account abstraction. So you come in, you create portfolios. Every single portfolio you create has its own set of wallets. So if you look on the Glider site and you make a portfolio, you'll see your 7 wallets across the 7 chains, more chains to be added soon. You deposit into that. And so that segregates your assets already from your EOA or from your MetaMask or Phantom. And then you set up the rules, right? So Glider reacts to the rules that you have defined within our building blocks. And this is really important because most agents are black boxes. Who knows what the hell is going on? With this, you define the rules, you know what's happening. There's full transparency in that. And then you can also create these rules, not yet, but soon via natural language. And so my co-founder had actually built out an agent in late 2023. We can call it an agent. And quickly what we realized was that the building blocks that you need to actually do triggered actions or continuous actions just aren't there. Like the agents we see today can do swap, transfer, lend, pretty basic things. I would argue you don't even need an agent for that. When you actually want to do things that are continuous, you need an underlying tool set. And so that's the Glider B2B2C play as well. So many of the agents that you know of already that are out there will be working with us. And many of the wallets that are out there, the biggest wallets in the world, including the biggest dexes in the world, are already building on top of Glider.
And I guess talk to me about the dynamics in the B2B2C business. Is the bet that you're going to aggregate a bunch of consumers and agent developers, protocols, et cetera, are going to want to tap into Glider to get that audience? And then what is like the business relationship look like?
Yeah. So we built our direct to consumer platform as like a showcase, right? Like our team, part of our early core team, including my co-founder, built Matcha.xyz back in the day at 0x. And so my co-founder's like bread and butter is creating consumer apps from really, I would say, novel things, right? Like a Dex back in 2018 was, you had to like define it for people. Anyways, what does the setup look like? So we've created this show house. Like you can see what can be done. It's great. For a Dex or for a wallet, the main value add is that they can create portfolios for their users that are constantly rebalancing. And also now they can monetize off of assets that are in wallets, right? Phantom, MetaMask, all of these guys, they monetize off of trading volume, but they've got billions of dollars of assets sitting in those wallets. they should be monetizing on those, whether it's through tiny bits of yield that they want to scrape off, whether it's through rebalancing. Not only that, Glider creates a lot of order flow. We're running about 1% of all user ops on base right now, and we're not even live. That's just trading volume that they can consistently generate fees off of as well. For a DEX, like a Uniswap, who's one of our investors, they can route all of the order flow through their AMMs, right? So this is a volume multiplier for them. We know they're curious about rebalancing. They did a presentation at DevCon in Thailand last year about it. So more to come there. I won't give any spoilers.
The strategic pause. We're good at those. Just sit here until you share more because you're uncomfortable.
That's why I have my eyebrows like this. I can do it. That's one of my skills right here. Before we move on, Josh, I just why don't you talk about me in the way that Brian talks about his co-founder? That feels like deep love and appreciation, my friend.
I just don't have the opportunity. People just don't ask. It's really that.
All right. So, I mean, it feels like the, we've sort of come through this era of agents being kind of at the top of the hype cycle, and I think we're kind of back down into some reality now. And I think the idea of natural language interactions with agents, and especially as it starts to play around like the very deterministic needing type of actions that DeFi brings, I think has been one of those limitations. And it sounds like the way that you guys have stepped around that is by being fairly limited, at least in what you can limited across a broad set of things, and you're just not going to allow me to go kind of crazy. But like, what needs to happen for us to get to the point where I'm just chatting with my agent? I love doing it through this microphone right here, and at trading or managing my whole financial life.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I think, we're very close to the people at Coinbase, also an investor, not to just talk about all of our investors, but, they have X402 now, which allows them and people to pay for APIs via crypto, or have agents pay for APIs via crypto, which is awesome. The one thing that I will say that's very unique to Glider, and this is a bit different from other agents out there or Volt structures, is the idea that you own your assets. And this is so important. I heard you guys talk about ETF tokens back in the day, actually like 2 days ago, maybe it was yesterday. But like, ETFs are dead in our mind. And the reason for this, and this is very important, is that if you can own all of the underlying assets within an ETF, you can get all of the utility of those assets. So you can lend them, you can stake them, participate in governance, claim an airdrop, right? The convenience of buying an ETF, right? The convenience that existed back in the day of being able to buy 500 stocks at once is the same convenience we can provide you today with the one click, but owning all of the underlying assets, right? So the idea of actually paying a 2% fee for an ETF, especially when it's just Bitcoin, which is an absolute joke, is sort of dead in our minds. And then with the evolution of on-chain stocks too, we just announced a partnership with Ondo. Ondo will be able to create underlying ETFs out of Glider portfolios. But these, again, are not your traditional ETFs. You own all of the underlying stocks. You get all the dividends from the underlying stocks. I don't know if Ondo's passing on voting rights, but you would essentially get the voting rights as well. And then you can sell the losers and you can hold the winners. And so the traditional sense of any type of like tokenized ETF token, anything like that, is really extractive to users, right? They're going to charge you a fee on that when in fact, you can hold all the underlying assets yourself. That I think is the most underlooked value out of what we're providing here.
How are you charging me?
So it's free today. We don't charge
well, you don't fall for
today.
that, Brian. We know. We know. What are you thinking about it?
We're going to charge fees that are similar to an ETF, but because you own all of your assets, we can charge much, much lower fees. There's no overhead here, right? All of our trades are routed to DEX aggregators, giving you the best price. There is no think about how many people are involved in an ETF, right? You've got like the issuer, you've got like the market participants who actually have to go and create and redeem, right? There are competitors in DeFi who are also doing this like strange, 5-person involved process. Like we created a Zora index, 2 days ago? Your guys' token is in there. It took me a minute, right? And the best part is you own your assets again. So fees will be similar to an ETF to answer your question, but significantly lower because we don't have all these middlemen, right? Again, you own your assets.
So I saw you guys ran a university trading competition that got you really excited by the opportunity to kind of socialize and gamify the product. And I think like increasingly that's just kind of a requirement of any consumer product today. Like if you're not providing people with dopamine, someone else probably will. So I'm curious how you're thinking about that today within the context of Glider.
Yeah, this is coming soon. So a lot of the gamification that we've provided is going to be there at launch. So I should say we're in private beta right now. We have about 5,000 users on the platform and about 200,000 on the wait list. So it's been a process getting all those off. Couple things. So these fees that we just talked about in traditional crypto fashion, anybody you refer will get, you will get some of their fees for referring people. We also want to stimulate the creation of portfolios that other people are going to use. And so if you create a portfolio that does very well, sort of like a hyperliquid vault, except it's not a vault, you own all of your assets, everything is segregated, you'll be able to earn on the profits that those users are withdrawing. So once they actually take the profit. Those are two high level things. We've got a bunch of campaigns that we're going to be running with many types of token issuers, lending protocols, et cetera, where not only can you get the benefits of lending on Morpho or Moonwell or Euler, but you can also get Glider points, additional benefits, referrals, a lot of levers that we can pull there. Yeah.
So we talked about trust a little bit, and I think going 0 to 1 with these products is always very hard, especially to get the level of TVL that ultimately makes everything much easier down the road. So I'm curious how you've kind of tactically approached acquiring this early user base of 5,000 people that you have.
Fortunately, it's been pretty organic. I will say that. So, our cap table has 10 VCs, not because we wanted or could only get small amounts from everyone, but because we squeezed everyone down to get more onto the table, specifically for distribution. And so many of these are the biggest like consumer products in crypto: MoonPay, Uniswap, Coinbase. And so that announcement alone, we had like 70,000 signups in our first day. And conversions have been really good. So like we've given out 15,000 invite codes, and again, 5,000 are on right now. Some of those are referrals, but decent in what we would expect. Distribution is the name of the game. I mean, there's any number of partnerships that we're going to be running, which will hopefully increase this. But again, the bigger picture here too is that our direct consumer app is not the end goal, right? We are a info provider for easy to create DeFi protocols. Like even if you guys wanted to put a portfolio on 11am.com, super easy. It takes like 5 steps. Have your users log in with Privy, Turnkey, Para. I know you had a DT on, or Nitya rather, very recently. Like we want to make anybody to some extent their own wealth manager to some extent, although nobody's actually managing these funds. You're just creating portfolios for users to provide. Very, very important legal distinction. You caught me there.
Lawyers squirming. I mean, we've had this idea of, we had run Internet Explorers, which is sort of the early version of this live stream. It was done once a week, and it kind of was through, I guess, January, February, early part of this year. And we were sort of reflecting on some of the guests that we had on, and we're like, if we had just bought the tokens of every guest that came on at the time, we would have been up bigly, right? So that was what do we have? We had the Virtuals guy on before Virtuals pumped. We had the
AI 16Z early. We had
DGen early.
yeah,
all these sort of things. And so it is definitely a thing that's in our mind. Are you saying that Glider could be and I think the core thing there is really allowing others to come and participate in that, not just us. Is that something that we're going to be able to go do on Glider soon?
There's a number of levels of decentralization to this. So if you go into Glider's platform today, there's a set of blocks. You'll be able to create your own block if you so want to. Of course, you can embed these portfolios anywhere. It's already available via our API. Already people building mobile apps, forecast drafts, Telegram bots, treasury management systems, DEXs, wallets, so on and so forth. There is a longer term path towards decentralization here that we spent a lot of time with A16Z on, and what the token mechanics will look like. I'll leave it at that again, because that's all very early. We are a team that is product before token. There is a path towards progressive decentralization, is typically the way that A16Z says it. If you start centralized, you can build a really nice product for users, which we think we are doing. And then you can let other people come in, build on top of. Yeah, but there's some
I love it.
There's a little bit of alpha, I guess, there.
Did they walk you through their token classification chart
Of
on day
course
one
they
of
did. You know, Eddie Lazarin
Uh,
walked us through it. We were part of CSX, so we spent a whole day and a number of weeks on token design. So
Yeah, amazing. Well, Brian, I think we got to leave it there, man. Thanks for hanging out with us today and sharing your vision for Glider. I'm assuming people can go add their name to that very, very long wait list. But
yep. Follow us
yeah,
on X, glider.fi. You can join our waitlist from there. We'll be rolling out, and soon enough, I won't say when, but we'll be live very soon.
this is a bullish sign of a founder, Josh, is when you're like, you see he's thought about all the things that he wants to go do. He really wants to say all those things, but he just really can't right now. And so that
Yes,
says a
it's
lot,
not the
I
I
think.
haven't. It's not the I haven't thought about this answer. It's the
Yeah.
I know exactly what this date is. I'm just not saying it.
Yeah. Amazing, man. Thanks for hanging out and best of luck as you take this thing live.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Brian.